James Whitaker's phone buzzed at midnight, shattering the silence. "Mr. Whitaker, your sister Sarah's gone," a cold voice said. "Snorkeling accident in Hawaii." His heart sank. Sarah, his vibrant sister, dead? But when her fiancé, Ethan, returned alone, his tears felt hollow. A chilling whisper in James's gut screamed, this was no accident. Could Ethan, the man Sarah loved, be hiding a deadly secret? James vowed to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. There is one detail that only important people notice. Did you see it? Write in the comments and subscribe, because it will be even cooler. James Whitaker sat alone in his Seattle apartment, the rain drumming against the windows like a mournful requiem. At 52, he'd seen his share of loss, his parents, his career as a lawyer, but nothing prepared him for the call that came 3 nights ago. His younger sister, Sarah, 28 and radiant, was dead. A snorkeling accident in Hawaii, the police claimed. She'd been on her honeymoon with Ethan Caldwell, her fiancé of 6 months. Now Ethan was back, and Sarah was gone. James clutched a photo of Sarah, her hazel eyes sparkling at her engagement party. She'd been his anchor since their parents died in a car crash a decade ago. Sarah, a graphic designer with dreams of starting her own studio, had gushed about Ethan, a charismatic financial advisor who seemed to adore her. But something about Ethan's demeanor at the funeral yesterday gnawed at James. His tears were plentiful, but his eyes were cold, calculating. When he spoke of Sarah's love for the ocean, his words felt rehearsed, like a script recited one too many times. The funeral was a blur of condolences and rain-soaked umbrellas. Sarah's friends, shocked and tearful, whispered among themselves. "I didn't even know she was engaged," one said. "Ethan? Never met him before," another added. James's unease grew. Why hadn't Sarah told her closest friends about Ethan? And why were none of Ethan's supposed colleagues or family there? He claimed to be an orphan, a loner who'd built a life from nothing. But was that true? James's lawyer instincts kicked in. He hadn't practiced in years, sidelined by burnout, but his mind still worked like a courtroom. He replayed Ethan's eulogy. Sarah insisted on snorkeling, even after twisting her ankle hiking. She was so stubborn. The crowd had nodded, but James froze. Sarah hated hiking. She'd fractured her ankle as a teen and avoided trails ever since. Why would she hike in Hawaii, let alone snorkel with an injury? The story didn't add up. That night, unable to sleep, James scoured Sarah's social media. Her posts were joyful. Selfies with Ethan, her engagement ring glinting. But the comments were sparse. No mutual friends tagged. No shared history. Ethan's profile was pristine, almost too perfect, with stock-like photos and vague posts about living the dream. James's gut churned. He needed answers. The next morning, he drove to Sarah's apartment, still untouched since she'd left for Hawaii. Ethan had offered to clear it out, but James insisted on doing it himself. Inside, Sarah's scent, lavender and coffee, lingered. Her sketchbooks lay open, designs half-finished. On her desk, James found a locked diary. He hesitated, then used a paperclip to pick the lock, a trick from his law school days. The entries were glowing at first. "Ethan's so thoughtful. He planned the whole honeymoon." But the tone shifted weeks before the trip. "Ethan's pushing for a quick courthouse wedding. Says a big ceremony's a waste. I wanted Mom's dress, but he won't budge." James's pulse quickened. Sarah had dreamed of a proper wedding, yet Ethan dismissed it. Why the rush? He kept reading. Found an old letter in Ethan's bag, addressed to a Nathan Reed. Wrong name, maybe? He got so mad when I asked. James froze. Nathan Reed? Was Ethan hiding something or someone? He pocketed the diary and noticed Sarah's laptop, still logged in. Her email showed a recent message from an unknown sender. Be careful. He's not who you think. No signature, no context. A chill ran down James's spine. He called the Honolulu police requesting the accident report. The officer was curt. Equipment failure. Air tank valve loosened, caused an air leak. Tragic, but accidental. James pressed for details. Had they checked fingerprints? The officer hesitated. Not standard procedure for accidents. James's mind raced. A loose valve? Sarah was meticulous about her gear. She'd snorkeled since college, knew the risks. This felt wrong. As he left Sarah's apartment, James spotted Ethan across the street, watching from his car. Their eyes met, and Ethan's face hardened before he sped off. James's heart pounded. Was Ethan tracking him? He needed help, someone to dig deeper. He remembered Mia Torres, a journalist friend from his law days known for exposing fraud. If anyone could uncover Ethan's past, it was her. Back home, James emailed Mia, attaching the diary entry and the mysterious email. "I think Sarah's death wasn't an accident," he wrote. "Ethan's lying, about everything." As he hit send, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He answered, and a low voice whispered, "Stop digging, Whitaker. You won't like what you find." The line went dead. James stared at the phone, fear and fury colliding. Someone wanted him to back off, but he wouldn't. Not until he knew the truth about Sarah and Ethan. James Whitaker's hands trembled as he reread the threatening text from the unknown number. "Stop digging, Whitaker." The Seattle rain had stopped, but a storm brewed inside him. His sister Sarah's death, ruled a snorkeling accident in Hawaii, was no accident. Ethan Caldwell, her fiancé, was hiding something. The diary entry about Nathan Reed and the cryptic email warning Sarah to be careful were red flags. James needed answers, and he needed them fast. He met Mia Torres at a dimly lit coffee shop in Capitol Hill. Mia, a journalist in her 40s with a knack for uncovering scams, slid into the booth, her eyes sharp. "You look like hell, James," she said, scanning Sarah's diary. He recounted everything. Ethan's hollow eulogy, Sarah's fear of hiking, the loose valve in her air tank. Mia's brow furrowed at the Nathan Reed mention. "Sounds like an alias. Let me dig into this guy." She promised to check Ethan's background, financial records, social media, anything that could expose him. Back at his apartment, James couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. He double-checked the locks, then opened Sarah's laptop again. Her email inbox had a new message, forwarded from the same anonymous sender, a blurry photo of Ethan at a bar, laughing with a woman Sarah didn't know. The timestamp was a week before the honeymoon. James's stomach churned. Was Ethan cheating? Or was this something darker? He sent the photo to Mia, who replied instantly. "On it. Stay safe." Mia's first breakthrough came 2 days later. She called James, her voice tense. "Ethan Caldwell doesn't exist. No birth records, no tax filings before 5 years ago. But Nathan Reed, he's real. A con man with a rap sheet. Fraud, identity theft, even a stint in prison." James's heart raced. Nathan Reed had scammed women across the West Coast, charming them, draining their accounts, then vanishing. "He's using Ethan's identity to start fresh," Mia said. "But why Sarah?" James recalled Sarah's life insurance policy. She'd mentioned updating it before the trip, naming James as the beneficiary. Had Ethan known? He called the insurance company, confirming the policy was untouched, $500,000 still in James's name. If Ethan was after money, he'd miscalculated. But if Sarah's death was planned, why the sloppy accident story? James needed evidence tying Ethan to the tank tampering. Mia connected James with a contact in Honolulu, a dive shop owner named Koa. Over a video call, Koa reviewed the police report. "The valve was loosened post-inspection," he said. "Someone tampered with it after our checks." James pressed for footage. Koa hesitated. "The shop's cameras were down that day. Maintenance. But there's a beach cam nearby. I'll see what I can get." James's hope flickered. If Ethan was caught on tape, it could crack the case. That night, a knock jolted James awake. He peered through the peephole. Nobody. But a manila envelope lay at his doorstep. Inside were grainy photos of James at Sarah's apartment, the coffee shop, even his car. A note read, "Back off, or you're next." His blood ran cold. Ethan, or someone working with him, was watching. He called Mia, who urged him to go to the police. But James hesitated. The cops had dismissed Sarah's death as an accident. He needed hard proof first. The next day, Mia uncovered a bombshell. Nathan Reed had a brother, Caleb Reed, a low-level crook living in Portland. Caleb's social media showed recent posts from Hawaii, dated the same week as Sarah's trip. Was Caleb involved? James and Mia drove to Portland, tracking Caleb to a seedy bar. They watched from a distance as Caleb met a man in a hoodie, Ethan. James's fists clenched. Ethan wasn't acting alone, but what were they planning now? Before James could approach, Ethan spotted him. Their eyes locked, and Ethan bolted, Caleb trailing. James gave chase through the rain-slicked streets, but the brothers vanished into an alley. Gasping, James cursed himself for losing them. Mia caught up, her face grim. "They know we're onto them. We need that beach cam footage now." As they returned to Seattle, James's phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. A voice hissed, "You're digging your own grave, Whitaker." Back home, James found his apartment ransacked, Sarah's diary and laptop gone. Panic surged, but he'd backed up the laptop's data. He called Koa, who'd secured the beach cam footage. "It's grainy," Koa warned, "but there's a figure near the gear before Sarah's dive. Looks deliberate." James's pulse thundered. Was it Ethan or Caleb? He forwarded the footage to Mia, who was cross-referencing it with Ethan's photos. "We're close," she said, "but they're desperate. Watch your back." As James hung up, headlights flashed through his window. A car idled outside, its driver obscured. Fear gripped him, but so did resolve. Ethan thought he could scare him off, but James was done running. Sarah deserved justice, and he'd tear Ethan's lies apart, piece by piece. But with Caleb in the picture, the stakes were higher. Who else was protecting Ethan's secrets? And what would they do to keep them buried? James Whitaker's world was unraveling. His Seattle apartment, once a sanctuary, felt like a trap. The ransacking, Sarah's diary and laptop stolen, proved Ethan Caldwell, or Nathan Reed, was desperate. The beach cam footage from Hawaii, showing a figure tampering with Sarah's snorkeling gear, was their best lead. But with Ethan and his brother Caleb on the run, James knew time was slipping away. He and Mia Torres, his journalist ally, were closing in, but the threats were mounting. Mia called early, her voice urgent. "The beach cam figure matches Ethan's build. Same height, same jacket, but the angle's bad. It's not enough for an arrest." James's frustration boiled. "What about Caleb?" Mia sighed. "He's a ghost. No recent bank activity, no address. They're covering their tracks." She'd sent the footage to a tech contact to enhance it, but results would take days. James couldn't wait. He needed to confront Ethan, force a mistake. He tracked Ethan to a downtown hotel, tipped off by a credit card hit Mia's source had flagged. James staked out the lobby, heart pounding. When Ethan emerged, smug in a tailored suit, James tailed him to a sleek office building. The sign read, "Caldwell Financial Solutions." So Ethan was still playing the charming advisor, even after Sarah's death. James slipped inside, posing as a client. Ethan's assistant, a nervous young woman named Lila, ushered him in. Ethan's smile faltered when he saw James. "Mr. Whitaker, what a surprise." His voice was smooth, but his eyes darted to the door. James leaned forward. "Tell me about Nathan Reed." Ethan's face froze. Then he laughed. "No idea who that is. Grief's making you paranoid, James." But James saw the sweat on his brow. He pressed harder, mentioning the beach cam. Ethan stood abruptly. This meeting's over. Don't come back." As James left, Lila slipped him a note. "Meet me tonight." "I know something." At a quiet diner, Lila revealed Ethan's dark side. "He's not who he says. I found files, fake IDs, bank accounts under different names. He bragged about a big score before Sarah's trip." James's pulse raced. "Did he mention her death?" Lila hesitated. "He said it was convenient." "I'm scared, James. He's dangerous." She handed him a USB drive with copied files. James rushed the USB to Mia, who decrypted it overnight. The files were damning. Records of Nathan Reed's scams, including a marriage fraud scheme targeting wealthy women. Sarah wasn't rich, but her insurance policy was a prize. One document mentioned a partner in Hawaii, someone who'd sabotaged the dive shop's cameras. James's blood ran cold. Ethan had an accomplice. But who? Mia's tech contact called. The enhanced footage showed a second figure near the gear. Caleb? Then, a gut punch. Mia uncovered a betrayal. Sarah's best friend, Rachel, had been in Hawaii during the honeymoon. Rachel, who'd skipped the funeral, claiming work. Her social media showed her at a Honolulu bar with Caleb Reed. James's mind reeled. Had Rachel betrayed Sarah? He called her, voice shaking. Rachel sobbed, admitting she'd met Caleb years ago before his criminal days. "He said it was a fling. I didn't know he was with Ethan." She swore she hadn't seen Sarah die. James wasn't sure he believed her. Ethan struck back that night. James's car was towed, impounded on a false theft report. At the precinct, an officer handed him a message from Ethan. "Keep pushing, and you'll lose more than a car." James's anger flared. Ethan was toying with him, using his fake identity's clean record to manipulate the system. Mia urged James to go public, but he feared Ethan would vanish. They needed airtight evidence. A break came unexpectedly. An email from the anonymous sender, the whistleblower, arrived with a video clip. It showed Ethan at the dive shop, loosening Sarah's tank valve, unaware of a hidden staff camera. The whistleblower's note read, "I worked for him. He ruined me. Get him." James's hands shook. This was it, the proof to nail Ethan. But the whistleblower's identity was a mystery. Why help now? Was it a trap? James and Mia met with Detective Alvarez, a no-nonsense cop Mia trusted. Alvarez watched the video, jaw tight. "This changes everything. We'll bring Ethan in for questioning." But as they left the station, James's phone buzzed. A photo of Mia taken hours ago with a caption, "She's next." James's heart stopped. Ethan wasn't just running, he was hunting. Mia brushed it off, but James saw fear in her eyes. That night, James found a burner phone taped under his mailbox. It rang once. The whistleblower's voice, distorted, said, "Check the hotel's security logs." Ethan's not alone. James's mind raced. Another accomplice? He and Mia hacked into the hotel's system, finding logs showing Ethan meeting a woman, Lila, the assistant. Was she playing James, feeding him half-truths? The web of lies was tightening, but so was the danger. Ethan was steps ahead, and James was running out of moves. James Whitaker's resolve burned hotter than ever, but fear gnawed at his edges. The video of Ethan Caldwell tampering with Sarah's snorkeling tank was a bombshell, enough to drag him into a police interrogation room. Yet Ethan, or Nathan Reed, was a ghost, slipping through every trap. The threatening photo of Mia Torres, captioned "She's next," hung over James like a guillotine. Ethan wasn't just a con man, he was a predator, and James's pursuit was making him desperate. Detective Alvarez moved fast, issuing a warrant for Ethan's arrest based on the whistleblower's video. But when police raided his hotel room, it was empty. Clothes gone, laptop wiped. James cursed under his breath. Ethan had been tipped off. Mia, combing through the USB files from Lila, Ethan's assistant, found a lead, A wire transfer to a Hawaiian account labeled K.M. James's gut twisted. Koa, the dive shop owner? Was he the accomplice who'd disabled the cameras? They needed to confront him. James and Mia flew to Honolulu, the city's vibrant beaches a cruel contrast to their grim mission. At the dive shop, Koa was jittery, his eyes darting. "I didn't touch the cameras," he insisted. "They crashed. Technical glitch." James showed him the wire transfer. Koa's face paled. "Okay, look, Ethan paid me to look the other way, said it was for a prank. I didn't know she'd die." James's fists clenched, but he held back. Koa's testimony could bury Ethan. Alvarez arranged for Koa to turn state's evidence. Back in Seattle, Ethan retaliated. James's bank account was frozen, hacked, with transactions flagged as fraud. His landlord received an anonymous tip accusing James of illegal activity, threatening eviction. Mia's news outlet was hit with a smear campaign, labeling her a conspiracy nut. Ethan was dismantling their lives piece by piece. James's anger surged, but a deeper fear took root. What if Ethan framed him for Sarah's death? He needed to end this. The whistleblower struck again, emailing a cryptic message. "Check Sarah's insurance broker." James hadn't considered the broker, Diane Harper, a family friend who'd handled Sarah's policy. He met Diane at her office, her face etched with guilt. "Sarah came to me before the trip," Diane confessed. "She was worried. Ethan kept asking about her policy's payout. I told her to keep me as the beneficiary, not him. Then he called me, offering a cut if I changed it." James's blood ran cold. Diane had refused, but hadn't warned Sarah. Her silence had cost a life. Diane's confession was a turning point, but it came with a twist. She'd recorded Ethan's bribe attempt, fearing he'd come after her. The audio was gold, Ethan's voice smooth and menacing, promising easy money for a small tweak. James forwarded it to Alvarez, who confirmed it strengthened the case. But Ethan's reach was long. Hours later, Diane's office was vandalized, her files on Sarah's policy stolen. James realized Ethan was erasing every trace of his motive. Then came Ethan's boldest move. A package arrived at James's apartment containing a forged letter in Sarah's handwriting. "James is unstable. I'm scared he'll hurt me." Attached was a doctored video of James yelling at Sarah during a family dinner, edited to look threatening. Ethan had leaked it to a local news blog, painting James as a violent obsessive. Social media exploded with strangers calling him a murderer. James's reputation was crumbling, and doubt crept in. Could he win this fight? Mia rallied him. "He's panicking. This is his last play." She traced the blog to Caleb Reed, Ethan's brother, confirming his role as the tech muscle. But the hotel security logs revealed a bigger shock. Lila, the assistant, wasn't just Ethan's pawn. She was his lover. Photos showed her slipping him cash, coordinating his escape. James felt betrayed. Lila's help had been a setup to monitor him. The conspiracy was deeper than he'd imagined, and trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. The moral dilemma hit hard. Alvarez offered a deal. Drop the public campaign to avoid escalating Ethan's attacks, and they'd focus on a quiet arrest. But James wanted Ethan's crimes exposed, for Sarah and every victim. Going public risked his safety, Mia's career, even Diane's life. He wrestled with the choice, haunted by Sarah's smile in that engagement photo. Silence might catch Ethan, but exposure would warn others. What was justice worth if it cost everything? As James debated, the whistleblower's burner phone rang. The distorted voice was frantic. "Lila's meeting Ethan tonight, Pier 57. They're planning to flee." James's heart raced. This was his chance to catch them, but it screamed trap. He called Alvarez, who mobilized a sting. James insisted on going despite Mia's protests. He owed it to Sarah to see Ethan's fall. As he headed to the pier, the Seattle skyline loomed, a silent witness to the battle ahead. Ethan was cornered. But a cornered liar was the most dangerous kind. James Whitaker stood on Seattle's Pier 57, the salty wind biting his face. The whistleblower's tip, Ethan and Lila meeting here to flee, had set his pulse racing. Detective Alvarez's team was in position, hidden among the pier's shadows. James's choice to expose Ethan's crimes publicly, despite the risks, fueled his resolve. Sarah's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a betrayal, and tonight, Ethan Caldwell, alias Nathan Reed, would face the consequences of his lies. The pier was quiet, tourists long gone. James spotted Ethan and Lila near a docked ferry, their silhouettes tense. Ethan clutched a duffel bag, likely stuffed with cash and fake IDs. Lila's nervous glances betrayed her fear. James stayed back, heart pounding, as Alvarez's radio crackled. "Hold position." But Ethan's eyes swept the pier, locking onto a glint, maybe a cop's badge. He grabbed Lila's arm, bolting toward a speedboat moored nearby. James's stomach dropped. They were slipping away. Alvarez's team sprang into action, flashlights cutting through the dark. "Police! Freeze!" Ethan shoved Lila aside, leaping onto the boat. James sprinted forward, ignoring Alvarez's shout. He couldn't let Ethan escape. The boat's engine roared, but a cop tackled Lila, pinning her. James reached the dock's edge as Ethan gunned the throttle. In a split-second choice, James dove onto the boat, crashing onto the deck. Ethan snarled, swinging a wrench. James dodged, tackling him. The boat veered, scraping the pier. They grappled, the wrench clattering away. Ethan's strength surprised James, but grief and fury powered him. "You killed her!" James roared, pinning Ethan. The boat lurched, throwing them against the rail. Alvarez's team boarded, cuffs ready. Ethan's face twisted in defeat as they dragged him ashore. Lila, sobbing, spilled everything. She'd helped Ethan plan the insurance scam, believing Sarah's death would be a minor injury. James's rage flared, but he let the law take over. At the station, Ethan's empire of lies collapsed. The whistleblower, revealed as a former victim of Ethan's scams, had tracked him for years, waiting for revenge. Her evidence, videos, bank records, even Ethan's bribe to Diane, sealed his fate. Koa's testimony and Diane's audio tied Ethan to the tank tampering. Caleb, arrested in Portland, confessed to hacking James's accounts. Lila, facing charges, turned state's evidence. Ethan faced multiple counts: manslaughter, fraud, conspiracy. His smug grin was gone. James pushed for transparency. Mia's expose hit the airwaves, detailing Ethan's nationwide scams. Victims came forward, their stories mirroring Sarah's: charmed, deceived, ruined. The broadcast went viral, Ethan's face plastered across screens. His real name, Nathan Reed, became synonymous with betrayal. Social media buzzed with hashtags like "Number Justice for Sarah." James's gamble paid off. Exposure protected others, though it painted a target on his back. He accepted the risk for Sarah's legacy. Ethan's trial was swift. The courtroom buzzed as evidence piled up. Fingerprints on the tank valve, the hidden camera footage, Lila's testimony. Ethan tried tears, claiming he never meant harm, but the jury saw through him. He was sentenced to 15 years, with parole unlikely. Outside, reporters swarmed James, but he waved them off. Justice was bittersweet. Sarah was still gone. Yet knowing Ethan's other victims found closure gave him a flicker of peace. The aftermath tested James's spirit. Threats from Ethan's old allies trickled in, but Alvarez's team monitored them. James moved to a new apartment, simpler, but safer. Sarah's friends rallied around him, hosting memorials where they shared her art, keeping her spirit alive. Mia, now a mentor to young journalists, credited James's courage for her outlet's revival. Diane, racked with guilt, started a foundation in Sarah's name, funding scam awareness. James spoke at its launch, his voice steady. One rainy evening, James visited Sarah's grave, laying her favorite sunflowers. "We got him, sis," he whispered. The weight of loss lingered, but so did purpose. He'd faced Ethan's darkness without losing himself, choosing law over vengeance. The community's support, friends, victims, even strangers, reminded him he wasn't alone. Ethan's crimes were public, his punishment certain. Whatever awaited him post-prison, from legal claims to victims' grudges, was his burden to bear. James walked away, the Seattle skyline glowing faintly. He'd honored Sarah's memory, not with hate, but with truth. Her laughter echoed in his heart, urging him to live fully. Ethan had taken her life, but not her light. James vowed to carry it forward, one step at a time, knowing justice, hard won, was the truest tribute he could give.